Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for your time today. I'm Ryan Pennant from Keyware, and today we'll be showing you how to integrate your telephone system with Infor CRM using intelli-CTi. Now, I'm going to be taking you through a demonstration of the solution, and afterwards we'll have a little bit of time to answer any questions you guys might have. Now, the presentation will definitely be under 30 minutes, so we'll get you back to your day here pretty quickly. And without further ado, let's jump in and get started. A little bit of background here on Keyware. So we've got over 25 years of experience as an Infor CRM partner. So we really understand the needs of the Infor CRM users. Now, we're also developers of complementary products that are sold worldwide, obviously intelli-CTi, but we also have a duplicate data solution for Infor CRM called Paribus 365, which, as it sounds, will clean duplicates in bulk from your system. But enough about us. Let's discuss intelli-CTi and why it is so important to your CRM users and, of course, your customers. Now, as you may know, there's been a significant importance on providing a greater customer experience in the CRM space, or for that matter, in any business sense, right? And we're really passionate about delivering a better experience for Infor CRM users. Now, intelli-CTi is designed to enhance both the user and customer experience, while ultimately increasing user efficiency and adoption. Now, let's discuss some of the challenges we see today regarding your phone interactions between users and customers as it relates to the CRM system. First, poor phone call efficiency. With no workflows or too many clicks, it can be very cumbersome. And often we see users can't find the caller's record fast enough, or in some cases at all, which can really lower user efficiency and, of course, customer service. And often you'll have low call volume rates as an issue, really due to inefficiencies in the CRM system and with no integration with the phone system. And also, there's a lack of sufficient data often that is captured by users, which leads to poor customer service on future calls because the relevant history is not being captured. And how can you make important decisions about your business if the data isn't in the system, right? And finally, poor integration between the phone system and Infor leads to both frustrated users and customers. And it's not the user's fault, they just simply don't have the tools in place to effectively deal with the customer's needs. Now, this is where intelli-CTi really truly shines. Now, intelli-CTi is designed to improve productivity and streamline your users' phone interactions while providing a better customer experience. And here's some examples. First, inbound call handling. This basically allows for identification of the caller before the user answers, right? And it automatically opens the caller's records in CRM and associates the call to the appropriate CRM record. And from an outbound dialing perspective, it's really simplified. It's just simple click to dial feature. There's no more having to worry about dialing a 9 for dial tone or a 1 or a 0, and no more misdialing, just click and dial. And intelli-CTi improves the call flow management. It really encourages best practices for optimum productivity and efficiency. And with its simple post-call processing, intelli-CTi allows for easy association and scheduling of follow-up tasks, along with capturing any call notes with just a few clicks. And finally, from a data and analytics standpoint, intelli-CTi captures all of this relevant data about the call, whether it be against the account, the contact, the lead, opportunities, and tickets, and really allows usage of this data in your reports, your dashboards, or favorite BI tool. So enough slides for now. Let's take you guys through a tour of intelli-CTi. Now, during the demo, I'm going to take you through several use case scenarios, including inbound calls where we're doing single match. So basically that means that the inbound call is unique to one person. We'll also do some other inbound calls like multi-match where more than one person shares the same phone number, as well as unknown numbers and missed calls. And then we'll take you through some outbound call scenarios, hyperlink dialing, some other things, and we'll round this thing out with talking about how the data is captured and how you could use it. Now, important to note, I will be working with Infor CRM version 8.5, but we do support versions 7.54 through 9.1 in both the web and LAN clients. All right. So I'm going to jump in here into my demo environment. Now, intelli-CTi is running here on the side, this little applet here. We call this the Breeze bar. and it will auto expand when calls come in, showing the caller's information, whether I have CRM open or not, because it's always connected to Infor, as well as, of course, my phone system. Okay. And so we'll show you more of that, obviously live. And also for inbound calls, I'm going to be using this little applet here we call the VTS. Since I'm not connected to a live phone system, I'll be using this to generate any inbound calls. But from an outbound call perspective, it will be just like a live phone system. All right. All right, and of course, let's bring up Infor and let's jump into some of these inbound calls. So like I said, the first call I'm going to start today is going to be an inbound call from a number that is known and is associated with just one person in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and generate that now, and we'll see that. Now, the minute a call comes in, my phone will be ringing here on my desktop, but you see intelli-CTi will immediately pop out here, okay? It's showing that I've got a caller, and intelli-CTi thinks it's David Antetokounmpo from First Network. And so the first thing I want to do is just see, is this in fact David, right? So I can answer the phone and say, good morning, David, how can I help you? Again, I know who it is now. Potentially, so I'm providing that personal touch immediately to the caller. So it just makes them feel better and gives me better customer service, right? Now, if I've confirmed, in fact, this is David, I can click on his name down below here, and it will do two things. One, it will associate the call to David and to his account, and of course, it will open up his record in Infor. And the nice thing about that, of course, now is I can see all of his relevant history right here at my fingertips, perhaps why he last called, any products or services he has of ours, maybe anybody he's spoken to. So again, I can provide just outstanding customer service to David, as well as, of course, that personal touch. All right. And to keep in mind, with his last name, I didn't have to do a lookup and ask him how to spell his last name a couple of times, frustrating myself or David, right? It was just simply, I see his information, click it, and it opens up his record. Okay. Just a much more streamlined and more personal process. Now, while I'm on the call here, you can see that I have some additional remote call control features. I can place the call on hold. I can unhold it. I can hang up. Also, as part of our remote call control area here, or the breeze bar, we have this little note pad that automatically opens up whenever I'm on a call, whether it be inbound or out. And of course, I can take some notes during the call. So perhaps David is called to discuss maybe a data quality project he wants to do. I can put those notes in here, and of course that will now be captured against his record, right? When I'm done, I can simply hang up the phone, and again, as part of that call processing, intelli-CTi will automatically open up and complete the phone call activity here in Infor. So I didn't have to think about this. I don't have to remember how to do this. It does it for me. Again, streamlining the workflow for the end user and ensuring that, of course, we capture this data. Now you can see that I've captured all of this stuff, all this information without me having to type anything in. Shows it's an inbound call, the date, the time, of course, who I'm logged in as. I'm Lee here. Any of those notes I took on the sidebar, and of course, I can edit those. I can associate this call to another record in CRM, maybe an opportunity we might have, what have you. But of course, you can see we've automatically associated to both David's contact and his account. And obviously, I can complete this record. I'll just schedule it as now. And you can see here in Infor, we now have these completed records here, right? And we also even have our own call history record we will create as well, which will capture even more verbose data in the system. Things like, was it an inbound versus outbound call? What number did it possibly dial into? Was it associated with an opportunity? What was the duration by second? Those types of things. So again, so we can complete as much data as possible, and then that way you can use them in your reporting, okay? All right, so that's an inbound call from somebody who is in the system, and that number is unique to them. Let's talk about what happens when a number is shared by more than one person, and how you might handle that. So we'll go ahead and do that, generate an inbound call here. So we're gonna go do that. So you see now an inbound call has come in. I can see I've got multiple contacts from advising groups. So intelli-CTi has recognized the number, but more than one person has that. So of course, the first thing I need to do is answer the call here on screen. Again, I can answer the call here on screen, or I can pick up the receiver off my physical device, whatever works for you. So I'm going to answer the call, say good morning, and the caller identify themselves as Lindsay Malvin here. So Once I've identified them, I can simply select Lindsay. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is if I had 4, 5, 6, 10 different contacts here with the same number, I'd have some scroll bars, but it's pretty simple here. So I'll just select Lindsay. And of course, by doing that, it does two things again. It associates the call to Lindsay specifically now, and of course, it opens up her record. So again, I've got all of her information at my fingertips, so I can help her the best way I can, okay? So that's how we handle an inbound call from a number that more than one person shares, okay? So I'll go ahead and, well, let's see, maybe I'll put some information in here. She wants a quote, whatever it may be. And we have some notes now. We'll end the call. And again, like you saw before, we're associating the call specifically to Lindsay. We can complete it, that's fine. We'll do it as now. And it's basically what you saw before with Mr. David there. All right, that's an inbound call when more than one person shares a number. Let's talk about what happens when somebody calls you and the number is not recognized. Now that could be for a couple of different reasons, right? It could be because the person's completely new and has never called us, right? Or it could be somebody who is perhaps calling from a home number or maybe has a new cell phone, but they are in my system, right? So I want to be able to handle that as well. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead and generate that call now. And now I can see that immediately I've got an inbound call and intelli-CTi tells me there's no matches found, okay? So the first thing I wanna do, obviously, like last time, is find out who's calling me. So I can answer that call here on screen, say, good morning, and they tell me it's Lou Balbo. Now, I wanna see first, is Lou in my system actually, right? So I'm just gonna jump into Infor, we all know how to do this, do a quick lookup on Balbo here, and see if he in fact is in the system. Now, if he is in the system, just by simply selecting the record, so I can see here that I in fact have a Lou Balbo, I can ask him if that's him. If that's him, great. Once I select the record or even go into the record, intelli-CTi will pick up on that and say, hey, notice you have an inbound call, didn't recognize it, but you've selected Lou Balbo here. Do you want to set this current contact as the caller? And all I have to do is hit the select button here, and of course it will associate the call to Lou, capture all that data against it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how easy it is. Now, and of course, obviously, I'm going to hang up. I'm not going to worry about completing the activity. You guys seen that before. If that unknown number came from a new contact and we didn't get anybody when we did a lookup, in this case, maybe Lou didn't exist in the system, I could go ahead and add them here in Infor, right? Like we all know how to do that. And at the point where I save that record, it would give me the same dialogue you just saw, and and at the point I saved it, I would just say select, yes, this caller is in fact this new contact I created. And that's how easy it is to deal with a new contact as well, okay? All right, let's talk about then one last inbound call scenario. Let's say David Canupo called me back, when I was at lunch, right? So in that case, I'm gonna just go ahead and generate that call here. And so I wasn't at my desk to pick up the phone, so it rang through to my voicemail, for example, right? Then when I come back to my desk, intelli-CTi will remain open and show me this little banner here that shows one missed call. And all I have to do is select this, and it will actually open up this little call history area and say, hey, the last person who called you was David. Did you want to call him back? And you can do so by simply double clicking him here. I don't have to worry about doing a search in Infor to find his number, none of that. I can simply just double click him here. It'll pick up the phone and call him back, okay? And we already know who it is, all right? I'll make it simple. Here, I'm just gonna hang up, you get the gist, all right? So if you do miss a call, intelli-CTi will give you a real quick way to call them back. Again, trying to make less clicks and things more efficient, all right? So that's inbound calls. Let's switch gears now here and talk about some outbound call scenarios. Now, I won't need this little dialer app anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that. Also, I'm going to just pin intelli-CTi here to the side just because I'm kind of doing more dialing for dollars. I want it more present here. And then what I'm going to do is, let's say every Tuesday and Thursday, I sit down here in Infor and I go through my list of hot prospects, right? So I want to kind of just start dialing these people, right? And this is where intelli-CTi is going to make my life a little bit easier here, okay? So, obviously we have in detail in the list view here in Infor, we have these hyperlink numbers, right? And I can call somebody just by simply clicking on this number, okay? And the great thing is intelli-CTi, when it was installed, is pre-configured to deal with all of my dialing rules, okay? Whether I need to dial 9 for a dial tone, or I have to dial a 1 or a 0. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can simply click on the number as I'm doing now, and it will pick up the phone, put it on a speaker, and begin dialing out. Or if I have a headset device, it'll activate it in my headset. And we can see here, it is immediately calling Dennis Aaron here. And of course, I can confirm, yes, I'm calling Dennis. And of course, it will open up his record. And obviously, it's associated the call to both him and his account. Okay. And of course, if I want to capture any information, perhaps why I called Dennis, I can go ahead and put that information. It's exactly what you saw, just like on an outbound call. I can take notes here because we've got the notepad. I can place them on hold. I can unhold him, right? When I end the call, it's going to auto create that phone call activity record, exactly what you saw before. The only difference here is it's going to just show it as an outbound call, right? But everything else is the same. I can continue to amend my notes, and I can see everything's associated to his records. I'll complete this record here, and obviously all this information now is stored here back in notes and history as well as call history. Okay. All right, so that's outbound dialing from a hyperlink, okay? Let's talk about some other ways we can dial out and make things a little bit more efficient for the user. We have a nifty little feature here within the Breeze app here we call the entity dialer. And the great thing about this is as I go through, let's say in this case, my list here, each time I select somebody here, it's going to note who it is and show me all their phone numbers, which is really handy. For example, I don't have a home phone number here listed here in this list in this column for Dennis Aaron. But as I click through each one of these contacts, you can see whoever I've selected now will show me their name here and all their phone numbers. So dialing somebody, you know, is just very easy. Just select them and then dial the number I feel like is best for them. In this case, I'll call Dennis here at home. I can hit dial or double click that number. Again, it'll pick up the phone here off speaker or activate my headset and begin dialing out. Okay, and again, it works just like you saw here with hyperlink dialing or even the inbound calls. It immediately shows me his information, and away I go. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hang up here on Dennis. We don't have to capture any more phone call activities. We'll cancel that for now. All right, so that's one way we can use the entity dialer as we navigate to records. Also, it keeps track of the last 50 records that I've either navigated to or people who I've spoken to. Okay, so which is really nice. If I don't have CRM open, and let's say I want to call David Antetokounmpo back, I can just find his record down here, find out which number is best to call him, and I can just go do so by hitting dial, right? Exactly what you saw before. So again, just makes it really handy for the user not having to go search in the records to find his numbers or whatever numbers I want. All his numbers are here in that last 50 that I may have navigated to or spoke to, okay? All right, so that's the entity dialer. Also, there's one other way I can do this. If I'm on a particular record, in this case, an opportunity, but this works for accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, or tickets. If you are, excuse me, dialing from an opportunity and you select that opportunity and you dial out from, in this case, it will show, okay, who the person is for this opportunity. It is David, in fact. Actually, in this case, it's Helmut. I can call him back just by basically hitting the number here. But the nice thing here is it will actually auto associate this opportunity not only with Helmut's record, but also with the opportunity, okay? So if I want to call him about whatever this opportunity is about, that's great, I can do so. And when, let's say I left a message, whatever it may be, when I'm done with this and the phone call activity comes up, you'll see though, it's automatically associated not only to the contact and the account for this opportunity, but to the opportunity itself, okay? So again, this allows me then now to show how many calls were against an opportunity or a ticket, the total time spent on it, which each of my users spent on one of these records, and it just does it all automatically, okay? So we now have a bunch of rich data in the system. All right, so that is dialing from records here as well as the entity dial. One last thing, if you were just to pick up the phone and call somebody back, okay, it will know if the number is known in the system, it will know it and auto associate. I can also demonstrate that by using our little manual dialer here. I can just simply put in a number, hit dial. If the number is recognized as it is, this is David's number. It sees that, yes, it's David. and I can click on his number and it'll open up his record and so on. It'd be the same if I just picked up my phone and started calling somebody. Okay. All right, so we'll hang up on that. So that's outbound down here as well, and we've of course covered inbound. Now, one last thing here I want to show you on screen for within the live demo is we do in fact have this little intelli-CTi navigation area where I will show my user all of the phone call activities, just making things very easy. Just I want to see my phone call activities. Maybe I need to follow up on something. I want to review the notes. I want to edit those things. I can see all that information here in the top area. If I want to see any schedule calls that I have to make going forward or any open activities, all that information will be down here. But the main thing here is all of this data is now in the system without my user having to think about it, okay? And it's there for them to use to help my customers as well. And so I'm gonna jump back into my slides. I do wanna talk a little bit more about the data, okay? So now that that data is in the system, right, we can use things like reports, dashboards, or whatever BI tools you guys want, right? So, but the important thing is that we've captured the data. So we can now see things like total number of inbound or outbound calls, the number of hours to close an opportunity, a ticket, right? We just saw my outbound call against that opportunity. We can see the call activity of maybe your top customers. This is really important, especially if you're looking at certain customers that you might have service agreements with and have a lot of tickets and you're spending a lot of time on that. These are things that can help you maybe renegotiate those service agreements for the next year. Average duration per call per user, right? How much time are people spending on the phone with particular people? How long does it take to wrap up certain calls, right? Total calls per day, per week, per month, right? Also total number of missed calls or what have you. All that data is in the system now and much more. And so we can all use this to our advantage, right? All right, so wrap it up here. We've seen some key features obviously today. Hopefully you guys agree it really increases productivity, right? Less clicks and searching. It really it provides a simplified and powerful user workflow, right? Guiding the users along the way. They don't have to remember to do these things. It just does it for them. And of course, improve customer interactions, right? By having that important data presented during the call, not having to ask them how to spell their name. Also, we're providing really extraordinary business intelligence, right? From all that data that's captured to allow the users to help the customers faster, and of course, for managers to make better decisions about the business. And most of all, an improved user and customer experience, okay? Now, to borrow from Steve Jobs, there is one more thing. We do have a promotional offer for you guys today. If you register for a demo by January 31st, you will receive 30% off your first 6 months, okay, of your subscription fees. Now, it's important to note, you don't have to complete a demo by the 31st. You just have to schedule one with us, okay? And if you do decide to move forward, we'll of course provide you a 30-day trial first, but you just have to make sure your order is completed by April 30th. Okay, so a great deal to go along with a great solution for your Infor system. All right. Okay. Now, if you guys have any questions, we're going to have a little time here at the end. But if you want to get some more information about intelli-CTi or get a free trial, you can reach out to your Infor partner or to QWare Direct. Alternatively, you can visit our website, just search intelli-CTi, and of course you can contact us via X, aka Twitter, or LinkedIn at intelli-CTi, or feel free to reach out to myself at the information below.